I am aware of my mistakes. I know I messed up. She and I shared something special. She remains the love of my life. We were together for 10 years, 2 years of dating and 8 years of marriage. But I made a terrible mistake and was unfaithful to her. It happened only once, just one time. Somehow, she found out. I never knew how, because I haven't been able to speak with her since then. I believe she found something on my phone. I came home that afternoon as usual, and everything felt strange. The house seemed emptier. I quickly realized her belongings were gone. I panicked and started calling her repeatedly, but her phone didn't even ring. Suddenly, I noticed some papers on the table. She was divorcing me. Under the divorce papers was a note that said, "This is what happens to cheaters." That was the last thing I received from her. And it's been 2 years now. Of course, I contacted her lawyer, who has been the only way to communicate between us. However, he informed me that he was her legal representative and that she didn't wish to see me. I argued. I got upset, but in the end, her lawyer just advised me to get my own lawyer. I didn't want to. I absolutely refused to believe that 10 years of a relationship could end like this. I know I made a mistake, but I always wanted to make it right. I believe that if she gave me the chance, I could make her fall in love with me again, just like the sweet and special girl I met over 10 years ago. I know I can earn her forgiveness. After all, many couples go through similar situations and overcome them. Why can't we be one of those couples? Why, after 8 years of marriage, am I discarded like trash for one mistake? I don't deserve this much indifference. I haven't seen her or even heard her voice in over 2 years. 2 years without seeing or speaking to the person you love the most is too harsh a punishment. This situation has broken me emotionally, mentally, and even physically. I resorted to consuming excessive amounts of alcohol, went weeks barely eating, and couldn't sleep. For months, I felt like a zombie, merely going through the motions. I wanted to die, but I couldn't allow myself to because I always held on to the hope that she would come back. My therapist says it's really difficult when you can't get closure from a relationship because your mind can't process that the relationship is over, so you're always thinking that person will knock on the door or that you'll wake up and they'll be there by your side. The divorce was completed more than a year ago. I'll be honest, I didn't make it easy. I didn't want to get divorced, and I still don't understand how we could be divorced. I asked for couples therapy, but she refused. I know from my lawyer that her lawyer advised her to attend at least once or twice, but she refused. It took quite a while, but eventually, the divorce was finalized. I can't even describe how it felt, and still feels like a piece of me has been cut out. I know I hurt her. I know I failed. Yet, I think everyone deserves another opportunity. When I couldn't handle the pain anymore, I decided to start therapy. My therapist doesn't give me advice on how to win her back. Instead, he concentrates on helping me move forward, urging me to meet new people and start dating. But I don't want to. Right now, I'm no longer interested in intimacy. A few days ago, something happened that completely devastated me. I was having some drinks with my friend at my place. Let's call him Kyle. We were both quite intoxicated. I started talking about my wife, and he told me, "You should try harder to move on from her. She has moved on and is happy living her life without you. You should do the same. You can't live in this sadness forever." Something in his words struck me, but not in the way he thought it would. He spoke with such certainty that my wife was over me and happy now. How did he know that? At that point, I got angry and started pressuring him to talk, but he refused. I pushed as hard as I could. I cried, and I begged him to tell me if he knew something. I needed to know something about her. Finally, he admitted that his wife had been in contact with my wife for the past year. They were close friends, and I remember Susan, who is my friend's wife, being very sad about losing touch with my wife. The thing is, my wife moved to Norway, married someone there, and is about 7 months pregnant. I felt as if my world was crumbling. How could she do this to me? How could it be that while I was crying, drinking, missing her, and feeling like I wanted to die every day, she was happily on the other side of the world, getting married, being intimate with someone else, and getting pregnant? How could it be that she didn't have a child with me for many years, to the point that I thought she might be unable to, but then she got pregnant by this new guy so easily? Where did this guy come from? I have no answers to anything, and I feel like I can't continue with my life without these answers. The only thing I can think of is that she had an affair with the first Norwegian guy she met, got pregnant, and decided to keep the baby. Maybe she got married because she wanted to stay in that country legally, and as in most places, getting married is a good option for that. I don't know. These thoughts are tormenting me. I refuse to believe that she is in love with him. I need to contact her. I need to talk to her, and I need to know what's going on, because she acts like our 10-year history and 8-year marriage mean nothing to her. I need advice on how to proceed. I feel the urge to travel to where she is and find her, but how could I do that? I don't know which city she's in. I don't know where she lives. I don't have a number to contact her. She closed her social media. Her family is small. They don't live in the same country as me, and they all blocked me. I'm completely lost. I'm unsure of what to do now. I still want her back. Yes, despite her being pregnant. I feel like this is a nightmare, and I need to wake up now. Edit. I read nearly all the comments, and when I say nearly all, I really mean almost all. It's difficult to process all the negative things that have been said about me. I feel like people forget that they are talking to a real person, and not just some object. I thought I might find more understanding by sharing my story here. Just 2 people showed compassion towards me, and their comments made me feel better. I'm not looking for validation or for anyone to say that what I did was okay. I'm aware it's not, and I must live with that daily. I will try to respond, but of course, I'll never be able to reply to all the comments here. I guess none of you know what it's like to have a broken heart and not be able to move on from someone. You don't choose who you love, and you don't choose when you get over someone. It'll occur when it's meant to. For those who doubt my story, unfortunately, it's real. I would love for this to be fake, but sadly it's not, and I have to live with this situation every day. Everyone assumes she's happy now. I don't know. I mean, how do you know? I haven't seen her in 2 years, so I can't have any idea if she's happy or not. Being pregnant doesn't necessarily mean happiness, and being married doesn't either. We aren't fully aware of the details of this marriage. Maybe she got married because she got pregnant and felt alone in a country where she has no one, so she just clung to the other guy. Of course, I blame myself for this. This wouldn't have happened if I had been a better person and a better husband to her. But unfortunately, I can't change what I did wrong. The only thing I could do is attempt to make amends, but how do you make amends with someone who refuses to give you the opportunity? Some people said that she doesn't owe me a second chance. That was hard to read, but I understand that maybe she doesn't have to. I never openly blamed her for the infertility issues. It was just a thought. We both went to the doctor, and in both cases, the tests showed that everything was fine. I never understood why we couldn't conceive, and the thought that she might be unable to did cross my mind. And of course, the idea that I might be unable to did too. But in most cases of infertility, it's due to a female factor. Maybe that's why I thought that. Terrible things were said, like that I would harm my ex-wife if she were here. I never physically harmed her, and I never will. I am not a violent person. I am not a bad person. I get that it's difficult to sympathize with me. I know I messed up. I know I hurt her more than words can express. However, I am not a bad or selfish person. Some people said that I never loved her, otherwise I wouldn't have been unfaithful. This statement doesn't seem fair to me. Do you think you can take ownership of the idea of love and tell someone else what their true emotions are? Do you believe you are inside my mind or heart? Only then would you understand what I feel. You can't tell me that I don't love her. Not a single day has passed since she left that I don't regret my actions. No one can tell me this isn't love. Lastly, humans are more complicated than many people here believe. Just because I was unfaithful doesn't mean I don't love her or that I don't have emotions. I called what I did a mistake because how else could I describe it? I thought part of accepting responsibility was acknowledging that it was my mistake. But everyone here interprets those words as if I'm trying to twist the situation when that's not the case. You've completely misunderstood my words. I know how much I hurt her. Perhaps in my post I'm centering on myself because I never had the chance to explain myself to her. Since then, for me, it's been one attempt after another to put together a story in my mind that doesn't make sense. I lost everything in an instant. I simply tried to be honest about my feelings, but it doesn't seem to work here. Not for me, at least. I know the damage I caused her. This woman left her life, the country she moved to, her friends, even her job. No one does that over a breakup unless they're experiencing some level of intense pain. I understand that. I can see and feel the pain I put her through, and that makes me feel even more guilty. Honestly, I'm going to respond to some comments below and then log off Reddit for a few days until I feel in a better place. Relevant comments. A Reddit user comments, I want to know who you cheated on her with. That's pretty important information. OOP replies, she was a random woman who frequented the same gym. Nothing important. It didn't mean anything, not even for a second. I was just being foolish. Another Reddit user comments, you don't seem to have any regret for being unfaithful. You just said she somehow discovered it, so you weren't planning on telling her? It's been 2 years. You have to take responsibility for your actions and move on. She's never coming back. There are billions of people out there. Just heal and improve yourself with therapy, and I'm sure you'll get a second chance with someone else. You're only 35. OOP replies, I do feel regret for being unfaithful. I'm a big mess right now, but I do feel regret. Another Reddit user comments, you may still be in love, but she is not, at least not with you. OOP replies, so love just fades away, just like that? At the end of the day, this sometimes makes me feel like I'm actually more loyal to our relationship than she was, meaning she left, remarried, and got pregnant. It looks like she completely forgot about me, and I'm here sitting and crying while I drink some wine and respond to strangers on Reddit about our relationship. I still love her, but for her, it was so easy to move on from me. Another Reddit user comments, if even half the people on Reddit had the self-respect your ex-wife possesses. OOP responds, I don't blame her. I understand the pain I caused her, but I also think there are many couples who go through this and move on, especially when it was just one time. I never had an ongoing affair for months. I wasn't unfaithful with multiple women. I didn't get another woman pregnant. I didn't cheat on her with her friend. Being unfaithful is wrong, but are you really going to put me on the same level as a guy who cheated on his wife for years, or who cheated on his wife with her sister? It's not an excuse, but I'm asking for some consistency here. Update. These days have been very strange. At times I feel numb, and at others I feel desperate. A lot of things have happened. I want to start by answering something, and then I will update. Some people asked why Norway. I don't know exactly, but she is a person who speaks multiple languages. She speaks 6 languages, many of which are connected to cultures she has always liked. Norwegian is just one of them. She's always been fascinated by Norwegian culture. She's visited before, but she's also interested in other cultures and speaks multiple languages. So for me, that was never a sign that she might have gone there. Update. First off, I want to mention that this post has caught the attention of some people in my social circle. Susan's sister is active on Reddit. She recognized the story and figured out it was me. She informed Susan about it. Now, Susan is upset with Kyle for sharing information. Kyle is mad at me for posting on Reddit and because he thinks I pressured him to talk. I'm frustrated with both of them for being inconsiderate people who watched me struggle for 2 years and chose not to help. They didn't care about my marriage, so why should I care about theirs? Susan could have given me my ex-wife's phone number long ago, but she decided to prioritize her friendship with my ex instead of helping 2 friends fix their marriage. Meanwhile, no one considered my feelings. By now, I'm through with them regarding my ex-wife. I've been thinking a lot, and she can't just vanish. I convinced myself that if I looked hard enough, I could find something related to her. I follow some of her relatives from a fake Instagram account, but I never found anything connected to her. I searched extensively and came across a name I had seen before, but hadn't paid much attention to. It was a woman with a name that's not common in the United States or my ex-wife's country, along with a very unusual last name. I checked her Instagram profile. There were no pictures, just a small profile picture that's barely visible. I then searched for her on Facebook and found the same woman with the same profile picture. Her Facebook profile is quite open. She is indeed a lady from Norway. I scrutinized everything on this profile, and I became certain she was linked to my ex-wife. How else would one of her relatives be friends with this woman? I saw numerous photos, people, plants, mountains, gardens, lakes, flowers, typical things an older woman would post until I stumbled upon a picture where my ex-wife was dressed as a bride, hugging a man. I had to translate the text. The woman was congratulating her son on his wedding. There were a few more pictures, not many, but some even included members of my ex's family in the wedding photos. The pictures were dated from a year ago. A year ago, she married this man. I can't understand how it all happened so quickly. When did she meet him? I honestly thought she got married after she got pregnant, not before, which confuses me even more. After that, I found another picture. It was a group photo. She was standing far away, but of course I recognized her. The same man had his hands on her shoulders, hugging her. This picture was from February 2023. To clarify, she left in May 2022. How is she with someone in February 2023 already? Just 9 months, and she's already in a relationship stable enough for him to introduce her to his family. I can't figure out what's happening here. I feel like I have even more questions in my mind now. I know I shouldn't be upset, but I am. I know I lost her because I made mistakes, but it's hard to shake off this feeling right now. Anyway, for those who imagine that my ex is with some Norwegian version of Chris Hemsworth, let me tell you, it's not like that. This guy is very tall, very blonde, very pale, and his hair is long and a bit scruffy, to be honest. He looks more like the old cartoon depiction of Vikings and is definitely not a Chris Hemsworth. I managed to find his Facebook profile, but there's almost nothing there. His profile states he's an engineer who wears metal band t-shirts at 380 pounds. I don't know how to interpret this since I'm also an engineer, just in a different field. Why would she seek a man with the same profession as me? My ex-wife has always liked heavy metal, which I always found unpleasant, but I never complained because your partner doesn't have to share the same musical tastes as you. I mention this because maybe that's how they connected. She used to bond easily with people who liked the same type of music. I don't know, but honestly, I look at it and think, where did she find this guy? I mean, she can definitely do better than this. The pregnancy thing still confuses me. I try not to dwell on it, but I can't comprehend it. I'm not infertile, as some comments suggested. I've consulted a doctor, and I know I'm not, but it kills me to think that she's going to have another man's child. I don't get it. This seems like something beyond anything I ever envisioned. And no, I'm not going to Norway. I have no plans to try reaching out to her. I still want to see her and talk to her, but I obviously can't force her to do that. I have too much to deal with right now, and too much to discuss in therapy. If this post somehow reaches my ex, I want you to know that I still love you. You know where to contact me. If by any chance this post reaches the new man, I want you to know the only reason you have a shot with this woman is because a fool halfway across the world totally blew it. You most likely met a woman who was probably very broken from her divorce, and you took advantage of her situation and trapped her with a baby. You don't know how to play fair. I am jaw-dropped by the amount of pain he is undergoing, still clinging on to a love that has already moved on without him. It's painful to see someone stuck in the past that can't be undone, sticking onto the belief that everything will be fine again. His thoughts about her do not diminish even though she is already into another chapter of her life, which only shows how much he loves her. However, he must come to terms with the fact that she is gone forever. He is mourning, but there comes a time for healing and finding joy again, despite its impossibility now.